standing at the Nova site. This is the site of that Nova Music Festival where sad to say, the massacre by Hamas occurred. Please pray for those that are suffering greatly, the families, for comfort for them. So many injured soldiers. Pray for the restoration of their health. This is a very sobering time. So many tears. I feel like crying myself. It's very, very upsetting to be here. But I need to be here to honor all those that are suffering, to honor Israel and what's been happening with the rise of antisemitism, the hate of the Jewish people. Please pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for Israel as never before. I'm Dr. Anthony Harper. I'm here at the site of the Nova Music Festival where the massacre happened with October 7th, Hamas. And I want to ask you that are watching this to pray for the hostages, their families that are suffering greatly. Very sobering experience here to be here at the site, the Nova Music Festival. You'll see these memorials to honor those that have died, pictures of those that have died. A large area here, people tried to escape from here, but were killed. Very troubling. So please pray for all the families that are hurting, for Israel in this very difficult time, for release of all the hostages as soon as possible. Of course, for healing for the hostages and their families that have suffered greatly. Restoration of the health for those that have been injured. It's a very painful time for Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem and for Israel, and help them through this very difficult, as I mentioned, very painful time, for comfort for all those that are suffering. And your name and maybe a website?
My name is Avrohom Leventhal. I'm the International Director of Lema'an Achai, and our website is www.Lema'an, Achai.org, Lema'anachai.org.
Hey, could you explain, what's been happening here? What happened on that day and people trying to flee?
So this is the memorial site where the Nova Festival. It's a dance festival, actually a very peaceful dance festival of young people. They just want to dance and enjoy life. And unfortunately, they were sitting ducks on October 7th. It started early in the morning, at 6-something in the morning, when there was rocket fire from Gaza, which is literally right over there to my right. And some of the people thought that it was fireworks as part of the program, part of the festival. And shortly after, the terrorists came in. It was a very, even though there was a security presence here, it was not enough to fend off the hundreds of terrorists that came in, and people started running in all directions. Some of them ran for their cars, which was difficult because there were hundreds and hundreds of cars and bottlenecking. And again, it's not a proper parking lot. As I'm explaining to Reverend Harper, that it was really a big field. Some people ran to the highway, which is about 150 feet in front of us. And those people, if they were in a car, they were able to drive away, again with the possibility of being shot by terrorists on the road or being shot running on the road. Some people were picked up by saviors. There were miraculous stories where individuals with high capacity vehicles were able to take 5 or 6 at a time to safety. 2 brothers, actually, the Davidian brothers, were not connected to each other. Their rescue efforts were able to save hundreds and hundreds of people from the Nova Festival by putting them in their vehicles and taking them to safety and coming back. The brothers grew up in this area, and they were very familiar with this area, and they were able to dodge bullets, literally. They also were mistaken a few times by Hamas terrorists for being Hamas terrorists. So it was an interesting story to hear from them what happened on that day. And a lot of the people, unfortunately, were killed escaping, and the majority of the those who were killed right here on the spot. Again, they were sitting ducks, there were people sleeping in tents, there were people hiding in ditches, there were people clinging to one another, for the last hope that they would be delivered from this tragedy, from this terrible situation.
Very terrible. Many memorials that you will see up to honor those that died in this festival, or soldiers that died in protecting people here.
First of all, it was the wrong day of the week. It was on a Tuesday.
A very sobering time. As I mentioned, I could feel the pain and the great suffering here on site of the Nova Music Festival, of what happened that very sad, so upsetting, horrific day of October 7th, 2023. Please pray for those that are suffering. All these families, so many that have lost their lives and are hurting right now.
They had full control over this whole area, because not only were the ones coming in from Gaza behind you, but they had already taken over the roads. I mean, the terrorists had gotten into towns like Sderot and Ofakim and Netivot, which are larger sized cities in this area, and were able, not only the Moshavim, they were able to get in and permeate these cities. And it's just a scary. I met with the mayor of Sderot, and he showed us a video of the entrance to the city, where you see terrorists coming into the city on October 7th. And they actually took over the police station in Sderot, and it was destroyed.
I appreciate you taking me here, and
Dr. Harper, it's been a pleasure. I would rather come to a more happy place, but we appreciate the respects that you want to pay to our victims, and in general, your hug and your concern about the Jews here in Israel. We feel that hug. It's a virtual hug from thousands of miles away, but really appreciate it. We feel it from the heart, and we know that we're not alone, and that we have brothers and sisters all over the world from all different places and all different perspectives who are there for us and with us, and it's something that's very heartwarming.
I know you really care about those that are hurting. You're with a social service organization.
Yes, the organization is called Achai, for the sake of my brethren. It's an organization based all over Israel. Our offices are in central Israel and Beit Shemesh, but we have families all over the country. And our goal is to give a hand up, not a handout. People who are in crisis, mostly financial crisis, but that usually comes together with emotional and familiar crisis. And we work together to bring people through and out of that crisis by giving a hand up as opposed to a handout. Really teaching them and helping them to get on their feet, to create jobs, to develop businesses, to pay off debt, therapies that are needed, whatever it takes to bring that family out of their current situation into a better tomorrow. That's what we're here for in Achai. And during the war, we met with a lot of families of the evacuees who had to leave because their communities were under siege, families that were displaced, families that were directly affected. We have a lot of widows and orphans, unfortunately, who were made such because of the atrocities of October 7th, and we're working to help them as much as possible, to be there for them financially, emotionally, to be an extension of their families. And soldiers and the families of soldiers, over 300,000 reservists were called up overnight. Some of them have been for the last year and 3 months, been away most of that time, and we're there to look after their wives and children who are home. They're guarding our front line with the army, and we're guarding their front line at home and helping them. And again, the assistance and the partnership we have from around the world is very motivating, very inspiring, and very heartwarming.
And your name and maybe a website?
My name is Avrohom Leventhal. I'm the International Director of Lema'an Achai, and our website is www.Lema'an, Achai.org, Lema'anachai.org.
And I will have that website listed in the description of this video. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm here with Rabbi Avrohom Leventhal, and thank you for joining me at this very crucial place. This is the site of the Nova Music Festival. This is where the massacre happened. So once again, can you kind of highlight about what happened here?
So on the days of October 6th and 7th, 2023, this was the gathering of the International Nova Rave Festival. It's a trans music dance festival for people from all over the world. Most of the participants here were Israelis or former Israelis who came back. And the idea was just to chill out, to enjoy life the way they see enjoying life, to dance, to camp, to mingle, and just enjoy a few days of relaxation during the holiday of Sukkot. And early on the morning of October 7th, when Israel was under attack from Gaza, which was in very close proximity to where we are, hundreds of innocent partygoers here were trapped, ambushed, attacked, in inhumane ways, and those trying to escape were killed. Some of them were burned out in their cars, and there were miraculous rescues as well, but unfortunately over 300 people lost their lives just trying to enjoy life, a few days of rest and relaxation here in the Nova site called Re'im. It's the Re'im Park, and it has become the Auschwitz of Israel. It's our memorial to the greatest slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. And we hope and we pray that not only those who are affected will have an emotional and spiritual healing, their families will be comforted, and the hostages who are still suffering in Gaza will be brought back to the safety and security of their family and their homes.
So right behind us are these memorials that you were talking about, and you can see this is a large area of memorials. Very troubling, what happened here. Thank you for Rabbi for joining me on this very important.
Dr. Harper, as I told you, it's an honor and I can't say a pleasure per se. Pleasure to meet with you. It's not a pleasure to be here, but it's an honor that you want to honor the memory of the victims here and pay tribute and respect. And like all of the emotions and feelings and hug of our brothers and sisters from around the world, we appreciate it, and we very much value your dedication, your care and concern for the Jews here in the Holy Land. Keep up your amazing work.
And once again, I've been calling for people to pray, and do please pray for all those that are suffering here. I think about the hostage families, that pray for their release here soon, healing for them, great loss. A lot of soldiers have been injured, widows, a lot of orphans of terror.
And again, just families torn asunder, even the hostages that thank God have returned, their life can never be normal. It really takes a tremendous amount of prayer, a tremendous amount of therapy, tremendous amount of understanding and healing. And we're healing as a nation to be attacked in your own homeland. This was the first war on Israeli soil in 5 decades since the Yom Kippur War. And to have that insecurity, there have been terrorist attacks, that's one thing, but to be invaded by the inhumane groups that came in, thousands, that breached our borders on October 7th, on a holy day. It was not only the Sabbath, but it was Simchat Torah, the day where we celebrate the Torah. And to have that happen is just, it was a moral blow, but it also shows the strength and the fortitude of the Jewish people. We're here to stay. And again, we thank you for your support and dedication worldwide.
Standing inside one of the bus stops, the shelter, where grenades were put in here. There were people finding shelter in here, but died in the shelters here. Very disturbing. Behind me, I don't know if you can see, but I can see bullet holes. This is a place to honor people that died here. I'm inside another a bus stop, a shelter where people took shelter but were killed by Hamas terrorists on the day of October 7th. This is a special memorial for those that suffered. You can see the memorials here on the ground and the walls around me. A very, very sobering time for all those who are suffering. And I'm in the entryway of this bus stop. It's really a shelter as well, where people took shelter on October 7th and that died. And this is a memorial to their lives. Would you say this is the most intense place of destruction here in Sderot?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, they were right down the street here. I think over there, maybe a little bit further down, there was a group of 10 senior citizens who were mowed down, waiting for a bus for a day trip.
I'm walking towards the description of regarding this memorial, the police station, was the greatest battle in Sderot near the Gaza border. And October 7th was the Jewish holiday Simchat Torah, in celebration of Moses' receipt of the Torah, of the Pentateuch, the books of Genesis through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy is considered the Torah. Talks about this memorial, about the battle of the police station
This is
here.
what the police station looked like.
Yes.
Right here on this spot. This would look like afterwards.
Shows all the before and after, what it looked like, and the damage, what it looked like after the destruction of the police station here. And I was here actually at the police station 5 years ago. You'll see some pictures of the destruction of vehicles by terrorists. In the description of this video, I will put a link to my previous time being in Sderot and to the interview with at the border, the Gaza border, and a visit to the kibbutz with the family.